My father, David Lett, was delighted when he found out last year that the faculty and trustees of Linfield had chosen to award this honor to him. I've been asked to address you all today to accept this degree on his behalf. I'm sure all of you parents can relate to the pride that I feel in accepting this degree for Dad. To the faculty of the Linfield College and its trustees, I extend my sincere thanks on behalf of my family, myself, and my father. To my father, who, 21 years of age, applied to and was rejected from 12 medical schools. Well, Dad, you finally did it. You're a doctor. It would have given Dad great pleasure to stand here today and address you all. I have no doubt the things that he had to say would have delighted those of you starting the next leg of your life's journey, and probably left those who've supported you getting this far feeling a little uneasy. My father's success in life came from his ability to blend the three elements of being human in the world: the heart, the head, and the hand. Heart. Make space for the cosmic brick. A friend of mine calls a moment of life-changing revolution or revelation getting hit by the cosmic brick. At 22 years old, to my parents' dismay, Dad's academic career got knocked abruptly off its course by a chance meeting with a barrel. He had been hit by the cosmic brick. A little background: my dad was the grandson of a successful doctor, and when my father was born, the edict was passed from on high that Dad, too, would be a doctor. Dad tried to fulfill that role. After high school, he was a medic in the Coast Guard. He got a Bachelor of Science from the University of Utah with a dual focus in pre-med and philosophy. Then he applied to those medical schools, 12 of them, and they all rejected him. So what do you do with a degree in pre-med philosophy and rejection? The mandate proceeded to dental school. Dad was in San Francisco having an interview at a dental school in January of '62. The Donner Pass was closed because of snow and he couldn't get back to Utah. And then the cosmic brick interceded. For some reason, he decided to drive up to the Napa Valley. The wine scene in the Napa Valley in 1962 was quite a bit different than today. There were only 3 wineries that today could be called super premium: Mayacamas, Stony Hill, and the Old Souverain. In fact, there weren't very many wineries there at all, except for some long-deserted and semi-derelict structures. The other wineries then in existence were producing jug wines, cheap and sweet, and in very large quantities. Growing up in Utah, these fine expressions of the grape, with names like Thunderbird and Wild Irish Rose, were all he knew about wine. My father happened to stop at Souverain. The cellar workers were out front washing barrels. Within minutes, Dad was helping them roll barrels. Within hours, he was asking the winemaker for a job. Within months, he had applied to join the University of California, Davis School of Viticulture, or grape growing. He had turned winewards. That morning was the beginning of my father's vocation, a vocation he would have never found or followed if he had not made space for the cosmic brick. So go forth, take detours, follow your goals, but keep your eyes open. The head. The value of education is not the knowledge, it's the tools. Dad's training at UC Davis emphasized the paradigms of the time. The focus was on methods of producing large amounts of cheap, sweet wine. The dominant philosophy was that in California, its beautiful, sunny climate was suited to grow anything better than anywhere else. This included cool climate grapes like Pinot Noir. In California, Pinot Noir ripened a month or 2 ahead of Cabernet and Merlot. So what? So you pick in August instead of September or October. What's the big deal? The big deal was that California Pinot Noir didn't taste very interesting. My father wrote, "The many California versions of this variety, which I tasted at Davis, were a great disappointment." In one of his Davis classes, he had the opportunity to taste Pinot Noir from Burgundy, where Pinot Noir originates. In Burgundy, a region in central France, Pinot production has been recorded since 1350 and probably goes back to at least the Roman era, if not further. On tasting this wine, Dad was hit by his second cosmic brick. He was immediately captivated by its flavors. "My first taste of a French Burgundy at Davis," Dad writes, "was a revelation. This is what wine is all about. This is why I am here. I began to focus my attention on this variety, tasting all I could get my tongue around. The differences between the French and the Californian Pinot Noirs were incredible. The French had a decided edge in complexity, in finesse, in flavor. Why? I had been taught that California wines were all things to all people and that all varieties do well in the warm climate here. Maybe so, but not Pinot Noir, not in my book. This was reinforced by an enology professor at Davis, who said during a lecture, there are few, if any, climates in California cool enough to grow Pinot Noir. Dad took this off-the-cuff remark seriously. He began to study the climate of Burgundy and try to match it with other regions of the world. The possibilities narrowed to the South Island of New Zealand, the Minho region of Portugal, but he always felt himself coming back on paper to Oregon's Willamette Valley. At the same time as he was figuring out what grape to grow, Pinot Noir, and where to grow it, someplace cool enough, he was also realizing how he wanted to grow grapes. At Davis, his requirements included entomology classes that emphasized, as he put it, here's the bug, and here's how to kill it. But he was also reading Rachel Carson's book, Silent Spring. It was very controversial at the time. The former Secretary of Agriculture, Ezra Taft Benson, dismissed Carson as a hysterical female. But not Dad. Carson's book had a huge impact on him. He decided to look for ways to grow grapes without relying on the chemical paradigm that his education told him was necessary. Perhaps the greatest contribution to my father's education in wine was the contacts that his college education gave him. After graduation, Dad decided to travel to Europe for 9 months to see firsthand the growing regions that he had come to admire, and his professors gave him letters of introduction. He writes, upon graduation from Davis in January '64, I sailed off for Europe armed with letters of introduction and a lot of questions. The secret that I discovered was really no secret at all. It had evolved over the previous 10 to 15 centuries of grape growing in Europe. Grape growers are farmers, and farmers don't normally go looking for more trouble than nature already provides. This perverse bunch of European grape farmers, however, kept growing certain varieties in regions where grape maturity is in doubt almost every year. Why? The secret is that where grape maturity coincides with the very end of a cool growing season, the wines made from them are the very best a variety can produce. When this match of ripening time of a particular variety corresponds with the end of the growing season, flavor is the result. Early maturing varieties, grown in warmer climates, tend to have the more subtle flavors literally boiled out of them before they ripen. So there you have it. Dad's years at Davis were meant to teach him how to make pink, sweet wine in very large quantities. I have a file drawer full of his class notes from those years, and pound for pound, his notebooks are full of information he would never use about wine styles and varieties and growing techniques that he didn't respect. But here and there, he picked up little kernels of information, a professor's offhand remark, a taste of French Pinot Noir, a book from the library that led him to think about agriculture in a new way, access to maps and climate tables that showed him new possibilities, contacts and introductions to growers in Europe that put what he had learned into a new context and helped guide his theories about grape growing in the New World. I apologize to the people who've worked so hard to get you here today, your professors and your parents. But the only conclusion that I can reach from examining Dad's education is that you should not be afraid to throw out almost everything you've learned. I know that's a daunting thought, given the tuition you've paid and the loans that you've built up. But the education that you and your family have sacrificed for has given you tools to think through and to build your own approach to things. And Dad would have encouraged you to employ those tools as often as you can.